morning, everyone. The topic I want to introduce today is the general psychology, which is the scientific study of mind and our behavior. Before starting, I would like to ask everyone the questions. Can you name at least one psychology effect you have ever heard of? Like the butterfly effect or what?
Skinner experiments.
And I believe most of the people couldn't name at least one, but actually psychology is everywhere in our life. This is my table of content. First, I will talk about what is psychology, and then we will talk about the interpersonal relationships. There are some effects. The first is the foot in the door effect, and then the Erikson effect, the halo effect, and then I will introduce some fun tips. The third one would be improving ourselves by using these psychologies into our lives. First is the delayed gratification and Melon effect and the Pygmalion effect. Number four, we will talk about the mental internal friction, which are the psychologies we should try to avoid in our daily life. The learned helplessness and the broken wings theory and the Alligator Principle. So what is a general psychology? This is actually conclude a wide range of psychology. It includes how we act and what we think in life. And the word psychology came from the ancient Greek, psyche. It is a goddess which represents the soul of human. There are 5 main reasons why we learn psychologies. First, you have to be able to describe these people's states and the problem he or she is facing. The second one is to explain and analyze the problem. The third one is to predict what questions they might face in the future. And we try to control it from getting worse. Then the number 5 application, which is the main purpose of this presentation. We want to use this into our daily lives. First, we will talk about the interpersonal relationships. These are some effects we will use when we are getting along with people. First one, the foot in the door effect. When you want to ask someone to complete a difficult mission for you, you start from asking them for a little favor. This is like when you want to get into someone's kitchen, you have to put your foot in their door first. By setting a small goal at first and then make it harder and harder by steps, you can your original purpose can be completed by then. One experiment was done by Dr. Friedman and Fraser in 1966. They asked the citizens who live in a area if they could place a huge sign in front of their house to warn the drivers of safe driving. And in another B area, they asked them to sign a document first. In the document, they would promise they would help to warn those drivers about safe driving. And a few weeks later, they asked them again if they could place a sign in front of their house. It turned out that 65% of the citizens would agree them to place a sign. However, only 70% citizens in a area do. This is because of the consistency in our minds. We tend not to contradict our actions and belief. This is their belief. They already sent out the message that they want to help. So citizens there wouldn't refuse the second request. However, if you put a very difficult task at the very front, they is more likely that they will refuse. So next time when you want to ask someone to complete a difficult task for you, try to start from asking them to do you a little favor. The next one is the Erikson effect. Let's try to imagine This is manager A, and he is manager B. One day, manager A come to your table and then tell you, you are too lazy sometimes. However, your program is not bad. And then B told you, the program is not bad, but you're way too lazy. Which one would make you feel better? Yeah, most of the people would choose A. This is one theory from Elliot Erikson. He exclaimed that people would feel frustrated and huge frustration when they first get positive feedback and then they get negative feedback. However, people will feel good if they get negative feedback at first and then they get positive feedback. These four phases, they represent negative to negative and positive to positive, negative to positive, and positive to negative. So could you let's take this as an example. Do you think what kind of process he is facing? No, this one. Yeah, this is from negative to positive, and this one is from positive to negative, and this one is from positive to positive. So he remains the smiley face, but not really happy, and the negative to negative one. So next time when you want to give others some suggestions, try to put what he can do better at front, and then you told them and you praise them. Next one is the halo effect. Let's look at this picture. The moon is at the middle of the picture, and the circle outside is the lunar halo. It will make people misunderstand that the moon is actually this big, but no, it's actually only a small part in the sky. This is one common cognitive bias we would face. Which means we would judge a book by its cover, and we will create a hasty generalization to a people. One experiment done by David D. Burns placed 3 pictures of a very attractive guy and a normal guy and an ugly guy, and they wanted the testers to predict who has the happiest life now. It turned out that most people would think the most attractive guy has the happiest life, but no, it's actually a cognitive bias. His outlook is only the lunar halo. However, maybe he's not living a happy life just like the moon in the middle of the picture. Here, I want to share a sentence in The Little Prince I really like. It is only with the heart that one can see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eyes. Although it might be difficult, but maybe we should try to look at the whole part of this person instead of just the lunar halo. And here are some tips I think you can observe others, and I already tried some of this in my life, and I think it really works. First, we would touch our nose in we would touch our nose when making lines, and this is a This is because the vein in our nose would expand when we are trying to make lice, and also the neck and our ear would heat up. So we would try to put our hands onto it to cool it down. So you can observe others if they are making lice or not. And when you feel someone is looking at you, you can yawn or look up at the ceilings or check your watch. You will find out they are doing the same actions with you. It is subconsciously. And I believe many people know this. When a group of people is laughing, we usually look at the one we are interested in. And when a person is really angry, he would shout and slam their hands on the table at the same time. But if they don't, maybe they're not really angry. The number 6, if you want to get more information from a people, you can just stop talking and look into their eyes. Normally, they will continue, and you will get the information you want. And by observing where people place their toes, you can know if whether they want to talk to you or not. If they are interested in what you're talking about, their toes will face towards to you. And people who put their hands in front of their eyebrows are trying to cover what they're thinking, because we will show our emotions by our eyebrows. So if they want to cover, then maybe they don't want others to know. And staring at people's toes can make them uncomfortable. If you really want to end this conversation, then you just stare at their toes. Don't stare at my toes now. And repeating others' hands gestures can make them feel that you are siding with them. The third part, we're going to talk about the psychology that could improve yourself. First one, this is the delayed gratification. I believe many people have heard of the famous experiment, the Stanford marshmallow experiment. They arranged 600 kindergarten children, and they told them, they put one marshmallow in front of them, and they told them if you didn't eat it after 15 minutes, you can get another one. It turned out that only 1/3 of the students followed the rules and then get another marshmallow. These kids are good at restraining themselves, which is called the self-discipline. And they keep tracking on them and found out that those kids done better on the SAT test tens of years after. And one of the girls, Susan, which performed the best in the experiment, is now the CEO in YouTube company. And this one also has also related to the one we talk about, the Melon seeds effect. I believe everyone knows what this is, right? And it's easy to bite. First, we feel easy. Then we become confident in these things. Then we will continue until there are no melon seeds. But this is actually called low happiness. You don't pay a lot of effort, however, you could achieve sense of achievement. For example, this one, scrolling on your phone or social media. You secrete dopamine, and this will make you feel joyful. However, once you feel joyful, you want more. That's why we will keep scrolling on it even when we have nothing to do on it. And the next one is the Pygmalion Effect. Long ago, there is a king called Pygmalion, and he received a sculpture. He really liked this girl, so he begged her to become a true human. And he made wishes every day. One day, it became true. Although it's just a story, but it was many scientists also say that by making wishes, you could really become what you want to. The number 4 part is the mental internal friction. This one is what we have to try to avoid. First one is the learned helplessness. Martin E.P. Seligman held an experiment in 1975. This is a box, and he put a dog inside. One side of the board is electrified while another is not, and there's an obstacles in the middle. So dog has to jump over the obstacles to get rid of the electric shock. At first, it acted positively and didn't get electric shock. However, when the electric shock started to become not fixed, the dog failed to escape the electric shock. So it started to feel helpless, because he realized that he learned that no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't avoid the electric shock. This might happen when we try very hard on one thing and then we failed. But actually, we should get ourselves out of the negative cycle of learned helplessness. Next one is the broken windows theory. The criminologists James Wilson and George Kelly set up an experiment. They broke only one window in a building, and then days later, they found out more and more windows are broken. Sometimes even there are people trying to steal things from these buildings, and the crime rate at this area also rise. This also happened when there is a bag of trash at the corner of the street. When people saw the bag of trash, they would put their trash at there. However, if there are no trash on the street, you wouldn't even throw trash onto the street. Another psychologist, Philip Zimbardo, also did an experiment. He put a broken car in area A, which security is a lot better than B. However, he placed a fine car in B area. A day later, he found out the broken car in the area was stolen, and then he broke he broke the windows of the fine car in B area. And one day later, he found out it was stolen too. This means when we ignore the small error in one thing, it will become common and more common, and then it will cause irreversible damage in the end. So we should try to avoid this kind of small errors in our life. The last one is the Alligator Principle. When we got bitten by an alligator, you try to use your hands to pull out your leg, but then it turned out that he bites both of your leg and your hands. You could lose a leg at first, but then lose a hand and a leg in the end. This is what we should cut loose in time. And it also related to another called sunk cost. Sunk cost is what that has already been incurred and cannot be recovered. And we usually ignore them. For example, our time, money, and energy. Let's take a look at this example. If you already spent $200 to buy a movie ticket, however, you found out you don't like the movie at all, would you choose to stay or to leave?
Stay.
Yeah, we think we already spent $200 on buying movie tickets. However, if you leave the movie theater, you can spend these times to do some more meaningful things. This is the sunk cost we ignored, and these are the effects that we will try to get ourselves rid of. And I think these effects are really fun, and hope you like my share today. Thank you.